I think my parents resent me for starting my own family. Posted by you/Let Owen. I had something of a revelation this weekend. I'm still processing how I feel about it and considering whether I should confront my parents. Anyway, here it is. I believe my parents resent me for starting my own family. I, 40M, come from a big family. I'm the second oldest of 9 kids. My older sister, Jane, is just a year older than me. There is a 6-year gap between me and the next sibling, then my mom had a child every 2 to 3 years. Since Jane and I were the oldest, we always helped with the younger kids and the chores around the house. In fact, it was common for my parents and other adults to refer to us as Jane and Op and the kids. It was like Jane and I weren't considered children, we were more like 2 other adults living in the house. We were homeschooled, so we were home all the time. Part of my job was to wake up, make breakfast for the kids, and get them started with their school or activities before I started my own schoolwork. Jane would sleep in because she was more of a night owl, and it was her job to help at night with the baby, because there was always a baby. Jane and I did most of the chores around the house. We took turns either cleaning the kitchen or doing the laundry, of which there was a lot. I did all the guy stuff, like mowing the yard and taking out the trash. As I got older, I would delegate some of these chores to my younger brothers, but it was still my responsibility to make sure they got done. Once I was old enough to drive, I would run errands and take the kids everywhere. I can't tell you how many times I took the kids to things like playdates or doctor's appointments. I often tucked the kids into bed and told them stories. To me, these things were just normal, but looking back, I was more like a second dad to the kids than a brother. Jane and I did have a lot of freedom as teenagers to go out with our friends, as long as the chores were done. We didn't have cell phones back then. If we wanted to go out, we would just tell our parents, and they didn't care as long as we were back by the next morning. I moved out when I was 20, but I still spent a lot of time at my parents' house, and one of my younger siblings was almost always at my house. One brother, JJ, pretty much lived with me from the age of 14 because he and our mom didn't get along. When JJ was 17, he got in a wreck and called me instead of calling dad, because I was the one who handled those kinds of things. During all this time, my parents always talked about how important it was for Jane and me to help with the kids because they were so busy with their ministry. I can't count how many times I had to drop what I was doing to take care of something because mom or dad was counseling someone. Sorry, I feel like I'm rambling. I hope I've painted an accurate picture of my childhood. Let's move on. I hadn't really dated much, but when I was 25, I met and started dating Anne. We fell in love fast and got married less than a year later. My younger siblings love Anne. She's a great cook and hostess. Our house became the hangout spot. My younger siblings started calling her Mama Anne, something they still do to this day. We've now been married 15 years and have 2 kids of our own. My mom and Jane did not like Anne. Jane and Anne get along okay now, but Anne and my mom do not have a good relationship. I never understood why, but I think I've finally figured out it's because they see Anne as having taken me away. As Anne and I focused on our relationship and started a family, I spent less and less time doing things for my parents. My dad liked Anne at first, but over the past few years, their relationship has soured. Throughout the years, my dad has made comments to me about keeping up my responsibilities. One time, he called me about one of the younger kids, who had gotten in a fight with my mom, and said, "You better get your brother and change his attitude. It's not okay how he treated your mom, and you are going to make him apologize." A few years ago, Anne and I set some boundaries with my parents, telling them we were not going to raise or discipline their kids. Our home is always open to my siblings, but we no longer let my parents try to use us to straighten them up. My parents have not taken this well. About a year ago, Anne injured her foot and couldn't walk for a while. Just as she was getting better, I was diagnosed with kidney disease, which then turned into kidney failure. I've had several surgeries, with another one coming in a few weeks. It's been a rough year. During this time, my parents have not only refused to help, but they've also actively made things harder for us. Things like promising to help with our kids but then canceling at the last minute, usually because something ministry related came up. Recently, my sister-in-law, who lives in another state, had a baby, and my mom has been staying with her and helping for the past 6 weeks. My sister-in-law has said that mom is a godsend and is so wonderful. My dad has gone to help every weekend. This hurts me because my mom wouldn't give us a single night to help with our youngest when he was born. Anyway, I'm sorry this post has turned out longer than I thought it would. I needed to get some of this off my chest. This weekend, I was talking to another sister and telling her how I don't understand why mom and dad don't treat me like they do the rest of the kids, even Jane. It's like I'm not one of their children. And it just kind of hit me that they resent me for getting married, starting my own family, and leaving them to raise their own kids. Part of me is relieved to finally realize why they treat me like they do, and part of me is sad. I'm kind of scared about this upcoming surgery, and I really wish I had a parent I could talk to about it. But I don't feel like I have parents, just some people I co-parented my siblings with. Update 2 days later. Update, I spoke with my wife, Anne, about it last night. I said something along the lines of, I've realized that my parents resent me for starting my own family and not helping them as much, and that is why they treat me so differently. And I think you've been trying to gently tell me this for years, but I was too dense to get it. We were sitting in bed at the time, and she leaned over, patted me on the head, and said, "You are so pretty." I laughed for like 10 minutes. It was a great emotional release. A lot of you said she sounds wonderful, and she really is. I just can't express how much I love her. About Jane, my older sister. Jane did get married and start a family about 2 years after I did. Jane and I had a falling out and didn't speak for several years, but we're okay now, just not very close. Our falling out was more about religion than anything. She is very religious, like my parents, while I am not. I am religious, and we attend church, but it's not our whole life like it is for my parents and Jane. Younger siblings, the youngest is 22, so they are all adults now. The second youngest passed away several years ago, so there are 8 of us now. I am very close with all my younger siblings. They still come to hang out at my house all the time, and they are all great aunts and uncles to my kids. All of them, including Jane, are upset with how my parents treated me this past year. Help with my kids. While I am disappointed in my parents for not helping, I do not need their help. Anne and I have close friends, plus we both have siblings who help. Anne's parents live far away, but they help when they can. We really are okay and feel very blessed and loved with all the help we have received. Therapy, part of my kidney treatment plan, includes access to a therapist, and I love her. She has been great in helping me learn to live with an illness. I'm not sure if she is the right person to speak with about my parents, but I will ask her and see if she can refer someone if not. I will wait until after my surgery to bring this up, as I need to just focus on that right now. Setting boundaries. When I say my parents won't help, it's not that they say they won't help, it's that they offer to help and then either bail at the last minute or change the plan so much that it causes Anne and me a lot of stress. A few months ago, Anne was sick, and my mother offered to pick our kids up from school. It's a long story, but she kept changing things and making it very complicated. My youngest ended up being left alone for a little while, and he got scared. After that, I had a harsh talk with my parents and told them how disappointed I was in them and how I needed to focus on my health, but they were making things worse. I told them they are not allowed to take my kids anywhere, they are not allowed to just drop by my house, and, in fact, they are not even allowed to offer to help, because my mom doesn't take no for an answer and will nag until she wears me down. My parents were mad about this, but all 7 of my siblings took my side and rallied around me, so my parents have respected it so far. Going no contact. A lot of people recommended going no contact. I don't want that. I still love my parents, even though they have not been great parents. My kids love them too, and I don't want to take that away. They are good grandparents, when they show up. I don't think my parents are awful people. I think they had this vision of having a big family and a big ministry, and they just didn't realize the responsibilities they put on Jane and me. I have spoken to them in the past and expressed how it was messed up that they put so much on us as kids, and they have apologized. Putting my parents on blast at their church. Several people recommended going to their church and telling people how they have treated me. You don't understand this church. They would praise my parents for putting God and the ministry above everything else. These super religious people are crazy. I guess that's it for now. My surgery is in less than 2 weeks, so I'm going to focus on that. I'm going to put this thing with my parents on the back burner and later decide what, if anything, I'm going to do. Thanks again to everyone for your comments. It has really helped me work through some feelings. Second update 3 weeks later. Thanks to everyone who reached out and wished me a speedy recovery. My surgery was last week, and it's going better than expected. All the surgeries and treatments over the past year felt like they were just keeping me alive, but with this surgery, a kidney transplant, I feel like I'm working towards getting my normal life back. It's been hard and painful, but I was expecting it to be worse, so I can't complain at all. Anne is always telling me that she doesn't get enough credit for being funny, so the fact that so many of you laughed when she told me I was pretty has made her happy. She said, "I like these Reddit people." This whole post started because I was having a conversation with one of my sisters. I'll call her 6, since I can't keep making up names. Plus, she's following this thread and will hate that I'm calling her that. 6 had a fight with our parents, and I was sharing with her that Anne and I had recently set strong boundaries with them and encouraged her to do the same. So, she did, and they didn't take it well. This led to several conversations with different siblings, and both 5 and 9 also decided to set some boundaries. It has also led to other siblings deciding to confront our parents about how they've treated me this past year while I've been sick. Jane, the oldest, called me the day before my surgery to check on me, and we ended up talking about our childhood. We haven't been close for a number of years, but I feel like we bonded on this call. It was interesting talking to her as an adult and reliving some things. She's been in therapy for a few years, and she said sometimes she'll be talking, and her therapist will stop her and say, "Jane, you just casually rolled through some messed up stuff. We need to stop and unpack this." For a long time, I blamed her for the way she treated me when we were younger, but now I'm beginning to understand that she was also just a kid trying to cope. I have a lot more grace for her now. We've been texting a lot over the past few weeks. My parents did visit after the surgery, but we didn't talk about any family drama. My siblings have said they're not taking these new boundaries well at all. I hope that one day they wake up, realize that all 8 of their children are disappointed in them, and work to be better people. But I'm not holding my breath. It seems they're placing all the blame like they normally do. This is just an attack by the devil. Anne and I decided that, moving forward, we're going to continue low contact with strong boundaries. With such a large family, going no contact would be hard and create a lot of awkward situations where we'd still have to see them. We've also talked to our kids, and they've both expressed that they want to have a relationship with their grandparents. While I don't expect my parents to change, I do believe they'll respect our boundaries. My attitude toward them has also changed. I no longer feel like I owe them anything. We'll continue a relationship with them because it's what's best for my family, not because they deserve it. Lastly, I received a recommendation for a family therapist, and I have an appointment scheduled for next month. Editor's note. Op is still active on Reddit but hasn't posted anything about his family situation for a couple of years. Recently, he shared that he is dealing with issues related to his kidney and heart. We can only hope for the best for him.